Is this little camera the best point and shoot photography camera of 2024? This camera is the Ricoh GR III. This is a 24 megapixel point and shoot crop sensor camera. Now I picked this up over a year ago now, and I have used this camera more than I have used any other camera on a daily basis. Now I've brought this camera with me on so many different trips around the world, and I have taken some of my absolute favorite photos with this camera. There's something to be said about a camera that you can just fit into your pocket. You can bring it with you everywhere you go, whether it's a restaurant, a sporting event, or just everyday life. The whole point of photography is to capture moments. And not all moments happen when you're being paid. Some moments happen just regular life. Walking around with your friends, out for dinner with a group of people, or just driving and passing by something that you like the look of. I feel like in the past few years, I've done so much commercial work with video business, photography business, and just paid gigs that the actual going out and just taking photos on a regular basis has somewhat kind of gone for me. That's where this camera comes in. I can just slide this camera right into my pocket and I can bring this anywhere with me. And being that it's a 24 megapixel camera that has manual features, I can take really high quality photos, transfer them directly to my phone and post them on my Instagram story, my Instagram feed, or send them to my friends and have what I deem as a high quality photo for social media, for myself, for whatever. But the art of being able to take the photo the way that I envision taking it is just something special that this camera has really brought back for me. So something that always comes up with this camera is who is its direct competitor? And I believe the answer to that would be the Fujifilm X100V. You know, that's been a very popular camera in the past few years to the point where it's actually been sold out and then people have been reselling them and it's been just like a skyrocketed price of them. I saw them listed for up to like $2,500 Canadian, which is insane. That camera is really only worth like $1,400. And that's exactly what the Ricoh GR III costs. The Ricoh is about a $1,300 camera, so you obviously are getting a very similar quality product in terms of the actual photography capabilities of this camera for like a fraction of the price. I think that the Fujifilms have come back down to life a little bit and they're probably in like that just over $2,000 Canadian range. Also, the Fujifilm for most people is a cooler looking camera, so if you're gonna wear a camera around your neck, like the Fujifilm's a cool looking camera, so I do understand that and I understand that argument. But if you're just talking purely photography, I would say that they're pretty similar. Like I've had zero complaints with this camera and I'm very picky when it comes to what cameras I use, what lenses I use, and I have had zero complaints. And everyone that I have let use this camera or even they've gone and bought their own version of this camera has nothing but like extremely positive things to say. There's an app called Ricoh Recipes. You download it and it shows all of the different looks that you can input into the camera, essentially baking in a preset that then you can just have directly onto your phone. Let's just say you want to take a photo and you wanted it to look like a Kodak style photo. You can go to the recipe that would look like the Kodak, input all the settings, and then you're taking photos that would look like Kodak. Once you transfer those onto your phone, they look like that film stock or whatever preset you chose. So the same thing you can do with the Fujifilm X100V. So it's a really cool way to get a unique look without really having to edit anything. You can just take the photos, put them on your phone, upload them. Now, like I mentioned, there is an image transfer app. So you can just essentially take the photos that you took on this camera, put them in the image transfer directly to your camera roll, and then post them as you choose to. Now, the convenience of that is just unbelievable because if I'm out and I'm doing things, I don't want to have to pull out like a laptop, transfer a card, or get the card reader thing and pull the card out just to turn on the camera, turn on my phone, put them together basically as if it's just a Bluetooth connection, and then I have the photos that I just shot directly to my phone. That is the most convenient thing that I have found in the past year, and it has just re-sparked that love for photography and just bringing cameras with me everywhere, capturing moments with my friends, capturing moments just in my life, behind the scenes at shoots and things. This camera comes with me literally everywhere. It just lives in my truck basically, and then wherever I go outside of the truck, it comes with me. Even when I'm just living day-to-day life at home, I'm taking photos with it. I just bring it with me all the time. Now, this is a good way to see the actual form factor of this camera. It is so thin. So like in comparison, this is my finger, that's the camera. Like it doesn't take up very much space. Realistically, it's like the size of like an old flip phone. Like it's very small. So that's just so cool because you can just slide this into your pocket. The Fujifilm has a lens that sticks out probably like this far, and the actual camera is a little bit bigger itself. So you have to wear it around your neck or you have to have like a sling for it or something. This camera I can just slide right into my pocket. I can slide it into my sleeve actually. Like I can just stick this right in my sleeve and you wouldn't even know it's there. The Fuji, you're paying for, I guess, like the little bit of the clout that comes behind it. Like you're seeing people on Instagram buy them and love them and use them all the time, and it's like this aesthetically pleasing camera, which, to be fair, I love the look of the Fujifilm camera, but also I love the look of the Ricoh. I love how small it is. I love how non-intrusive it is. I also love how easy it is to hand that camera off to someone and just be like, oh, can you just grab a quick photo of me? And it's not like this daunting task for anyone when you see them hand like a DSLR or something like that. At the end of the day, it's a photographer's camera because it's like such a purist camera, but at the same time, I can hand it to anyone and they can take a beautiful photo, no problem. It's a touch screen. You can visibly see what your photo is going to look like with the live view. Oh, there's just so many amazing things to talk about with this camera, but I'm going to talk about a few different trips that I've been on with this camera. Now, some of the more interesting trips I've been on with this camera was I went to Iceland to visit Sorel last year, and I shot some photos around Reykjavik in the hills and driving and just all around Iceland. So that was really special to just have a camera that I can pull out of my pocket and just snap some quick photos and some candids and some fun stuff like that. And then later that year, I also went to the Middle East. So I went to Abu Dhabi and I went to Socotra and I shot some really beautiful photos. And if you follow me on Instagram, a lot of the photos that were posted on my Instagram were actually shot on this camera. I had my other camera set up as like a cinema rig, basically. I had a monitor, I had the microphone, I had the big matte box on the front. So it was like totally rigged out for video, and it just felt so wrong to take photos with it. Like I took a few, but for the most part, it was just like dedicated to video. And I was also trying to save battery and power, so I just was trying to not use it as much. I took almost all of my photos with this camera, and I'm in this like remote area in the world, and you'd think that like you want to use your best possible camera, but the convenience of just having this in my side bag, pulling it out, capturing some beautiful photos, and then transferring them to my phone. I couldn't post them when I was right there, but I could post them once I got back to civilization a little bit more, or when I was in Abu Dhabi. Then in November, I went to Texas, visiting Austin and Houston. I was able to take high quality photos with a camera that's the size of my wallet. And I just got back from Detroit, and I went to see a comedy show, a Pistons game, and I went to some cool cocktail bars and things. And again, this camera just came with me the whole time, and I was able to get some really beautiful photos of the city. So in conclusion, this camera has basically lived in my pocket for the past year and a bit. And the whole reason I got it was I wanted to go to a boxing match in Vegas, and I knew that they wouldn't let me bring a camera in, so I wanted to get a smaller form factor camera that took a beautiful photo so I could print that photo, put it in my office, and it was gonna be this great thing. Long story short, I didn't end up going to that boxing match, but I had still bought the camera, and now it comes with me on every single trip, in my bag every time I leave the house, and I've never been more satisfied with a product purchase than this camera. If you want to get a Fujifilm X100V, by all means, I think it's an amazing camera. I think they're so aesthetically pleasing, and they're such a cool camera, and you can post on Instagram and get all the clout from Instagram, and there's so many different benefits in that way. But at the same time, if you are on maybe a little bit more of a budget and you want to get basically the exact same camera in terms of actual photography abilities, this is probably the best camera you can get for $1,000. Anyways, that is gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you who has tuned into the videos, and I will see you in the next one.